Chapter 2004 Gao Changgong's Breakthrough. While skillfully roasting rice cakes with his 8 octopus arms, he said with drooping eyelids, "Your Majesty is really stupid. If those sun fruits were given to the warriors of the Deep Blue Kingdom, their strength would be greatly improved. Why give them to those outsiders? What a waste." The pink-skinned General Ming Hai raised his head and asked blankly, "Give it to the warrior of the Deep Blue Kingdom? Then who should it be given to?" He stuffed a piece of rice cake into his mouth and ate it happily. General Yu's mouth curved into an arc, and he pointed an arm at his chest. "Why are you still asking? Isn't the best warrior in the entire Deep Blue Kingdom sitting in front of you?" General Ming Hai nodded. "So that's how it is, I understand," he said, looking at Prince Ji. "Your Highness, you are the most powerful warrior in our Deep Blue Kingdom." Prince Festival laughed happily. "General Yu, you really know how to talk." In his joy, he blew the rice cake on the stick out in one breath, and it just landed on General Yu's face, making General Yu scream in anger. Suzaku came closer, immediately catching the attention of the 3 men. Seeing that she was a female land person, Prince Matsuri looked kind. "Ms. Suzaku, what can I do for you?" Zhuke came closer, stared at the red flame, and asked curiously, "Why can fire be started underwater?" This question left Wang Ziji and the other 2 stunned. That isn't it normal to make a fire? Or do you people on land not know how to use fire?" Ojisaki looked curious. General Ming Hai touched his arm and said loudly, "Your Highness, don't be silly. There is no water on the land. How can you make a fire? I think they all eat raw meat." As he spoke, General Ming Hai enthusiastically handed over a roasted rice cake. "Come and try it. You must have never eaten anything so delicious." Zhuke waved his hand. "Thank you for your kindness, but I'm wearing a helmet and can't eat this thing." Ming Hai had no choice but to give up. Although Suzaku didn't eat, he still sat down out of curiosity about the flames on the seabed and stared at the flames to study them. As more people gathered, General Yu wanted to show off in front of the human females, so he coughed twice and took out a musical instrument shaped like a human recorder from his body. Ahem, humph. Today's weather is so nice. It's not raining under the sea, and everyone is gathered here. I think we should play some music to celebrate. Suzaku clapped his hands happily and said, "Okay, let me listen to what the music under the sea is like. I heard that mermaids are a race that are very good at playing music." Upon seeing this, Ojisaki and Ming Hai quickly retreated a long distance. This made Zhuke feel puzzled. "What's wrong with you? Why did you run so far?" Wang Ziji avoided his gaze and said, General Yu, I think it's not very nice for you to do this. Miss Suzaku is a guest." General Ming Hai said more, pointing at General Yu and saying indignantly, "You shouldn't let us suffer painful torture. Mermaids' ears are also ears. If you insist on playing, I'll throw my ears away." As General Ming Hai said this, he actually pulled off 2 ears from both sides of his head and threw them on the ground. General Yu was furious. "Pick up your ears. I told you to pick up your ears." The 3 giants under the sea were in a mess, and the scene was very warm and harmonious. Li Changgong, on his side, was troubled by the moonlight. No matter how he swung his sword, he could not completely separate the bright moon. But he gradually understood what King Jin wanted to express. For example, when he met a person with special abilities like Ojisai before, his I am gods will become extremely useless. King Jin wants me to split the moonlight, not to split the moon in the water. He wants me to have the ability to attack more than just one point. Ultimately, he wants me to be able to decide the outcome with one strike. In this case, even if my abilities are flawed, as long as I can seize a perfect opportunity, it will be enough to secure victory. Li Changgong's mind became clearer, as if he understood something. He suddenly pulled out the saber that was stuck next to him and then stabbed it directly into the water. The moon remains the same, without any change. But as he began to infuse his special abilities, a strong sense of death began to spread. Cracks appeared on the water surface, and the pool at the bottom of the sea suddenly cracked like a mirror. Spread the power that is focused on one point. The sharpness of my blade cannot be broken. I only need to spread the power to cause huge damage. As my faith spreads, with just one strike, it will follow the target like a shadow and cause subsequent damage to a larger area. In this way, being stabbed once is no longer the end, but the beginning of greater harm. The will of death permeates the opponent's body until it is completely shattered. There was finally no more confusion in Li Changgong's eyes. Looking at the broken moon, he said calmly, "I understand. Let's name this move Death Sword." Li Changgong and others told Zhang Yi about their experiences during this period, and Zhang Yi roughly knew the situation. It turns out that the Deep Blue Kingdom has always been paying attention to the developments in the Sealed Land. The Devil's Eye was once a part of the city-state of Atlantis. When this continent was still a sea city, it was connected to both Atlantis and the Deep Blue Kingdom. Later, after countless years, great changes took place in the world, and the continent emerged. It became a region on land. But in the depths of the ocean, there are still passages that can enter it. Li Changgong and others followed Wang Ziji and others to investigate the situation, but they accidentally discovered the Atlantis people and the Olyuan Empire people who had arrived here earlier. They waited to see what these people were going to do.
You know what happened next?
The two groups of people alarmed the Ghost Walker leader and a large number of Ghost Walkers, which in turn caused the human coalition that entered the Demon's Eye later to be attacked. Li Changgong was planning to say hello to Zhang Yi, but accidentally discovered that there was one more person in their team. Seeing the people of the Olyuan Empire and Atlantis hiding in the dark, he became suspicious and did not show up. However, when Pokong secretly attacked Zhang Yi, it was Li Changgong who stepped forward to help him block the attack. Zhang Yi looked at Li Changgong and said sincerely, "I am very grateful for your help this time." Li Changgong waved his hand and said, "You took me in when I was down and out. So I'm just helping you this time to repay you. You don't need to thank me." Chapter 2005, Get the Intelligence of Wulwan Empire. The battle on Yang Xinshin's side has come to an end. Their fighting power in the arena was already strong, and with the influence of various factors outside the arena, the silver-armored generals of the Wulwan Empire became demoralized, and they were on the verge of defeat. They were not willing to surrender at all. The humans of Huashu Kingdom and the Wulwan Empire had already formed a mortal feud. Why should they bring humiliation upon themselves? However, Yang Xinshin didn't want them to die so easily. Seeing that the battle was coming to an end, she slowly raised her right hand, and a huge fallen angel puppet appeared behind her. However, this time, the fallen puppet was obviously different from the past. The strong sense of fate on him was even clearer, and the outline of his broken body was even more distinct. He did not look like a thing materialized by supernatural powers, but rather like a real fallen god. Especially the pair of white and tender hands in the shadow that controlled him looked more and more like Yang Xinshin's pair of soft hands. Yang Xinshin made a gesture of drawing a bow and arrow, and the fallen angel puppet behind her did the same. On the huge curved bow, 10 arrows surrounded by black air jumped on it. As the fallen angel puppet let go, 10 Trojan horse arrows shot at the silver-armored generals like lightning. Her arrows were even faster. The silver-armored generals who were already under suppression had no way to dodge and were shot directly by the arrows. After the pitch-black arrows entered their bodies, they almost disappeared, while Yang Xinshin's ruled Trojan horse completely invaded their bodies. Yang Xinshin's Trojan horse can invade all existences in the material world, whether it is organic life or inorganic matter. The 6 silver-armored generals turned into Yang Xinshin's puppets in an instant. Zhang Yi said to Wang Ziji and others, "Please wait for me for a moment." After saying that, he took a step forward and traveled through space to the vicinity of Yang Xinshin and the others. A great battle was won, and Fatty Su's face was full of excitement. He was becoming more and more adapted to the battlefield. The ability of eternal freezing allows him to be both offensive and defensive. With Uncle Yu, Liu Karen's mecha and Liang Yu forming an indestructible frontline meat shield, he is like a fish in water. The feeling of hiding behind and using skills to disrupt the enemy's formation and attack them unexpectedly is so comfortable. Otherwise, with his current combat capability, he would not be a match for the battle-hardened silver-armored general in a one-on-one fight. Luke Heron and Uncle Yu were counting the supplies consumed in this operation. Ammunition is easy to deal with, but energy and materials have to be used as little as possible, so we have to calculate carefully. Today is different from the past. The upgrade of their martial arts system is accompanied by a significant consumption of energy. Fortunately, a large number of mechanical life forms were seized in the Battle of Fremons, and many energy crystals were stripped from their bodies, so there will be no worries about energy shortages in the short term. The 6 silver-armored generals completely became Yang Xinshin's slaves. They lowered their heads and lined up in a row, standing in front of Yang Xinshin, looking like they were waiting for trial. Zhang Yi came over, and Yang Xinshin looked at him with a smile. "Brother." Zhang Yi nodded and looked at these guys with cold eyes. "Those guys from the Woolen Empire really pissed me off this time. They tried to kill me time and again. How dare these damned things keep their heads on their necks?" Yang Xinshin likes Zhang Yi's domineering look. The restlessness in her blood began to surge again. "Brother," she said with a hint of suppressed enthusiasm, "are we going to go to war with the Wulwan Empire?" She pointed at the 6 silver-armored generals in front of her. "Now I can learn all the information about the Wulwan Empire from them. As long as we understand the true combat readiness of the Wulwan Empire, we can put the offensive plan on the agenda. When the time comes, it will be a wonderful thing to destroy the entire culture passed down from ancient times." She covered her face with excitement. The pleasure of conquest made her blush. Zhang Yi nodded. "This is a very warlike and invasive race. If we keep them, they will attack us sooner or later. I can't keep such a big threat around forever. First, we need to find out their armed forces. Once we have accumulated sufficient strength, it will be time to repay blood with blood, tooth for tooth." Zhang Yi clenched his fists, as if he wanted to crush the entire Wulwan Empire in his palms. At this moment, if Li Changyi and the others had not been there just now, the combined attack of Claude and Pokong could have really caused considerable damage to Zhang Yi. What he hated most in his life was people who posed a death threat to him. Once someone does this kind of thing, he must be eradicated. Yang Xinshin walked forward and looked down at her slaves coldly. "Now, let's understand everything you know about the Wulwan Empire." Zhang Yi asked Yang Xinshin and the others to slowly handle the matters here, as it would take a long time to gather intelligence. As for this information, he would not share it with Li Changyu, Xuanwu, and others. So Zhang Yi went to find Wang Ziji and others and asked them what their plans were next. "Oh Gigi, you are also considered the natives here. I hope you can give us some guidance on what we should do next." Zhang Yi did not forget the purpose of coming here. It is necessary to find the seal site of Mammon, pierce the spear of Longinus into its heart, stabilize the seal, and find Ling's humanoid device. "Please wait." As Wang Ziji spoke, he reached into his clothes, took out a fish skin paper roll, and slowly unfolded it. The very simple strokes above draw a map. He then smiled and said, "As long as we cross this weak water abyss, we can reach the sealed place of Mammon. My father told me that there is a huge valley there, and Mammon is trapped at the bottom of the valley. It takes a special method to cross the weak water abyss. As the guardians of the sealed land, we, the Sea Clan, will not be subject to such restrictions. We will just transport you there when the time comes." After listening to him, Zhang Yi said, "Wait a moment." He soared into the air, trying his best to fly to the highest point in this world. However, this space was completely formed by Mammon's dream and was in a state of infinite chaos. After Zhang Yi flew to an altitude of tens of thousands of meters, there was only a hazy mist at the edge of the surrounding world. He used the smart device on his body to search everything within his sight. His purpose was to find other alien teams. Entering the Demon's Eye this time are the alien troops from the Junjing Church and several countries. They are all led by bishop-level aliens and are very powerful. Dear viewers, thanks for staying with me. We'll try to get you more updates. Please like and subscribe and share the video with your friends. Love you all.